Here's a totally serious guide on how to get 3K iRating in a couple of minutes. So I'm going to show you how. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw an iRating graph. This is obviously an iRating graph, and we're going to add in 1, 2, and 3 here. Let's draw these in. We got, they're actually legible. Wow. So here's the arrow. That's time. Doesn't really matter this direction, but hey, it kind of actually does. So we're going to start off at 30 and 50 iRating. This is where you're going to start in iRating, and you're just going to do a few races. You'll be okay, and then bang, you'll either lose a lot or gain a lot. Don't worry too much about it. Let's assume that you actually started off and you had a little bit of raw talent inside you, a little bit of Franz Hermann lying around. So you kind of go up a little bit. Why did you go up? In this video, I'm going to show you all the little steps in a very brutal and probably non-useful way of how I got the 3K iRating in GT3s on iRacing. I also did it in Formula. This is how I understand it, and it's probably a very overly simplistic way of doing it, but there's a small chance one of you may take value from it. Let's cook. So you start off, you learn basic throttle control and steering control. You're like, wow, I can drive the car in the direction that the other cars are going. More than likely, if you finish the races and you don't crash out and you're in the top half, you're going to start gaining iRating. Wow, you're getting faster. You're joining with faster people. Then you understand the racing line. If I want to go right, I need to be on the left side. If I want to go left, I need to be on the right side. The more track I use, the faster the car can go, the more space. You know, you paid for it. You might as well use the track. So you start a very basic understanding of using the track. That way you can carry more speed. Then you learn how to brake properly and you're feeling real hot. You're diving down the inside of people. Couple incidents and stuff like that, which make things a little jaggedy here, but in general, you're feeling really hot. You can stop super fast. You just go down the inside, plant the brake, close your eyes. You're getting them moves done. You're a real star now. Even better, what happens next is you understand trail braking. Oh my God, there's a bit in between braking and going that's called trail braking. Well, it's really rotation, but we're not going to get too deep into it at all in this video. But yeah, so when you're braking into a corner, then you want to slowly lift off the brakes, which keeps the front of the car nice and heavy, which means the front tires are like, yay, we've loads of grip. He's giving us loads of weight on the front so we can turn loads. That way, when you're going braking straight, you're braking at 100%-ish on the brakes, 80%, whatever it is, and then you slowly lift off the brakes as you're turning in, and then bang, you get on the power, and you notice by slowly lifting off the brakes here, you get more front grip, which means the tires actually want to turn. If you just brutally lift off the brakes here and try to turn, you don't have much weight. You're after sending it all to the back. That's why if you go over a speed bump in real life and then you actually stab the throttle before you go over the speed bump, you'll notice a much smoother ride. Your suspension will thank you. So now we're doing all this trail braking. We notice quite a lot of speed into corners. We need to have some basic overtaking skills. Again, we're in the overtaking phase. Things are getting a bit jaggedy here, and we actually lose it all at one point. But then you come back. It's okay, you know what I mean? This is a very common iRating graph. If yours looks like that, that's fine. And if it's the other way too, don't worry. There's a way up. You just do everything in reverse, kind of. So now you've gotten up to about I'm going to call it 1.6 iRating. We're going to say we're actually around here. 1.6 iRating. I know this is not a proportionate all, and you're kind of feeling a bit hot and you're in with faster people and stuff. The egos are flying. You need to do more. You start to manage your nerves. You start to practice your race starts. You start qualifying better. You're up to 1.8 now. And next thing you know, to get up here, all you got to do is finish in the top half of the races that you're doing. I understand that may be difficult for some. Keep working on it. You got it. Now, you want to get to 2K, but it's a big thing in your head. It's like, oh dear, how do I get to 2K? 2K is such a milestone. The closer I get, it's like forcing two magnets together. They just start pushing apart. Easy. Just pretend 2K is actually 1.8K iRating. Done. Simple. You're going to be 2K iRating. This is just a mental block that you get to 1.8K and then you start doing the calculations. You're like, oh my God, if I get 7th in this race, if I come 4th in the next race, I only need a podium in the 3rd race and then I'm 2K. That is a ridiculous amount of pressure to put on yourself. Just keep racing. Just try not to crash. Finish in the top half of the races that you're in, which if you're practicing and you're learning new techniques, shouldn't be impossible to do. Although it did take me a long time to get 2K eventually, so don't worry if it's taken too long. And next thing you know, you're 2K. Bang, that was easy. How we're only, 4 minutes in? Poor. Now, we want to go from 2 to 3K. How are we going to do it? We're going to have to understand that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. The car needs to be not driven over the limit, like thrown over the limit. Because if you make a huge mistake and lose 3 seconds, like that's a lot of time to find back, 3, 4, 5 seconds in a spin. But if you underdrive the car a little bit and then you're kind of just missing out a tenth or so, but you actually practice consistency, you're going to notice you're much further along than people who are just over pushing the car. So consistency is better than raw pace, and slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That's what firemen say to people leaving buildings, and they survive. Start to feel the grip. Now you want to start to practice this light hands technique, and you just want to be nice and smooth with your steering wheel and feel what's going on in the car. You don't want to be over leaning into the car and causing understeer or causing oversteer. You need to listen to the car. So when you're braking into a corner, nice and light in the hands. Then when you're turning, you can get a bit heavier. And when you're leaving a corner, that's when the hands lighten up and you listen to what the car wants as it tracks out and uses all of the track. Speaking of which, we're at 2.2k now. Now we've discovered how to actually use all the track. This is actually a big jump in pace. As we saw down here, using all the track, it seems obvious. You just, here's a track. Okay, we turn in, clip the apex, and then we come on the outside. Okay, so we've used all the track here, we've used all the track there, we've used all the track there. The question is, did you need it? You need to make it so your car needs all that track. So if you're coming through this corner here, braking, turning in, and then you come here and you can actually drive out this way, but you just choose to go out this way because that's what everyone does, and that's what F1 guys do on the TV, and that's what everyone does. You're not using all the track properly. You need to be coming through this corner. I don't know how I did that, but it's perfect. You need to be coming through this corner so fast that you're gonna fall off the track. You're actually almost going to shoot off the track, but you don't because you control it well enough that you just about come to the edge of the track. That's what using all the track means. Going so fast, the timing on that was impeccable, going so fast that you're almost about to fall off the track, but you don't because you've practiced and you've found the limit. So I found it myself. There was 2 stages to learning using all the track. There was using all the track when I was a rookie because I was just driving out there because that was the thing to do. And then there was actually using all the track where you find yourself on the limit, you're rocking around, and if you try and turn right, if you've miscalculated it by a few kph, you're either flying off the track or you didn't use all the track. It's one or the other. Make sure you use it all. It's going to gain you a lot of speed. Now we want to start gaining iRating, and we notice it's starting to get a bit more competitive. Getting up to 3k iRating is supposedly the top 5% of sim racers in iRacing, so we need to do something that 95% of people aren't. We need to start focusing on our qualifying a lot, because we're looking at producing results. If you're interested in gaining iRating, some people aren't. Some people do want better competition in these higher splits, and they want to push themselves, and that's absolutely fine. You got to start qualifying better. That puts you into the higher areas in the race, which means you've less chance of starting in the mid pack, which means you've less chance of actually getting involved in all these crazy races. How many races have you done where you've noticed that there's been a huge mid pack accident, and then 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cars at the top, they all just got away? That's a very common theme because people who qualify at the top of a race are more likely to want to finish that race. So even though they're fighting tooth and nail for the lead, they both want to survive. So do bear that in mind. Do qualify well. I'm going to raise my hand real quick here. I used to qualify bad on purpose. Not bad, but I would drive at 98% instead of 100 because I had a fear of losing out to the guys up there. I was worried if I qualified and did a lap that I pulled like pulling a cat out of a hat, I might not be able to fight these guys. Maybe I don't deserve to be up there. Until I tossed all that away, started qualifying as best as I can and accepted a real challenge. It was great fun, and it also helped me gain iRating. Next up, learn how to defend properly. That's pretty important. You got to learn how to defend. You got to know when to defend. You got to keep with the race. You do not want to lose out on people. You're battling 20, 30, 40, 50 people. You're not just battling one person. So do not get tunnel vision. Do not let someone let you have target fixation on them. You need to think of the race as your whole. This speaks to the whole. It's you versus the track. It's you versus you. The other people are just noise. When you leave that grid position, your only objective is to get to the finish line as fast as you can. So nothing about style moves or putting one over on someone else. It's how quick can you get to that finish line at the end of the 20, 30, 45 minutes. That's all. You versus the track. Make sure you keep moving with the flow and don't get bogged down in these ridiculous battles where you end up losing seconds on the whole race just so you can have one overtake performed on someone. Make sure you know when is right to defend and when is best not to. Now, one last little thing as well is you'll probably have a few little jaggy moments here, which is absolutely fine. But the thing is, once you get up to a point, you know how to do it. You can do it again. You just felt the pressure. That's okay. That happens quite a lot. And this can happen many times over and over and over again until one time you get fed up and you're like, you know what? I want to bust through this plateau. I want to go up through this plateau. I'm done. I feel like I keep getting up to this point and I just can't get over it. That's where you take a deep, hard look and then you figure out what it was. And then for me personally, it wasn't my pace. I was fortunate enough that my pace, I was able to race 3 and 4K guys. It was things like not qualifying well enough. I needed to stay out of battles, like turn one battles, like battles that would end you in the wall, like turn one at Monza, knowing when to lift, knowing when to take the grass. You know, sometimes you got to take the grass and lift when there's a yellow flag. Yeah, you'll lose 6 or 7 positions, but little do you know, you might actually perform better than you would have if you just plowed into that crash. You most certainly will perform better in the race and get a better result. So do bear that in mind. So finishing races, making sure I stayed out of trouble, qualifying, and my mindset. This is a last huge one. I never thought I could be 3K, and I know that doesn't sound like a big deal for most, but for me personally it was, because I remember looking at some 3K guys I was racing like a year ago and being like, these guys are aliens. I never thought I could be there until one time I just accepted this is just a number. That's how I realized this, and that's how I realized this. 3K is just a number. I'm going to get up there, I'm going to go whoop ass, and I'm going to try my best to stay there. And the second I had that thought, I remember I was doing 2 days of live streaming at Monza. I literally shot up to 3.3K in a day. I gained 800 iRating in like 2 days. And this was just from just getting out, practicing, doing the race, and trying to finish in a decent position. And I did learn time on track as a big thing to play with it, but it was all in my head for quite a long time getting to 3K. So other things that helped just in this last little stretch was setting my gear up and not touching it. Now, granted, it's tough to set your gear up. Sometimes it can be hard to find that sweet spot, but I actually found the sweet spot in the gear, my pedals and my wheel. It takes a bit of time as well to know when you have that sweet spot. It's hard to know if a system's working if you don't know what a working system is like, but this felt good. This felt consistent. This felt replicable. So for me personally, I knew I hit something. I just left it. It's a nice soft brake, progressive, has 2 stages. And then there's the steering wheel. The force feedback was set kind of strong, but very raw. But as well, I didn't be afraid to add a few little filters on top of it. That worked out perfect for me. I didn't even look too deep into it. I just set something and forgot it. And lastly, like analyzing your races, having a look at some of the issues that can come up there. We have staying calm in traffic. You know, traffic can be quite infuriating, can be quite, you know, bogging you down, but just know when is the right time to go for a lunge, to go for an attack, or when is the right time to actually just stay back, stay in the traffic and stay in that train. All these little things that compile together. And next thing you know, you're 3K and it has only been about 12 minutes. But yeah, all these little things. And these are steps in probably most people's journey that you will remember. It's probably a very wish-washy video. You should have known when I popped up in the corner of this video and there was MS Paint on your screen. You knew what you were in for. So don't be too upset. But most people who do start off in iRacing know that this is the journey. You know, all these little things that I've explained, they make a lot of sense. There's huge dips that come all along the way. You know, you get past 2K and then you get up to 2.3K real quick and you find your limit and you're like, whoa, you get knocked down a peg. You know, this can look extremely jaggy. But in general, if you look at it over a period of time, it's all going in one direction. So hopefully it does go up for you. If it doesn't, don't fear, have hope. Keep pushing, 100%. I mean, keep pushing, because I know for a fact there's some people who started their iRacing journey and they've gone the other way and they're working really hard to then find their new skills down here. But trust me, keep working at it. The growth is fun. The regression of skill or apparent skill in iRating is obviously painful, but you learn a lot from it. You know, you learn a lot from it. Like if I was to show you my iRating, let me pull it up here. So here's my sports car iRating. You know, this tells a wild story. I got up to 2.3K, fell back down to 1900, got up to 2.6, fell down to 2200, got up to 2.5, fell down to 2K, fell down to 1864. It was right about here now. I was like, nope, never again. I know for a fact, for as long as I've been doing this, I deserve to be up there in those 3K lobbies. And the reason I say them is because there's huge train battles. It's really tight, but that kind of pressure stays on longer in those races. That's what's attractive to me about having a higher iRating, because you get to go on higher splits and have tougher battles. So I started my climb, peaked out at about 3.2, and then I'm kind of still above 3K iRating at the moment. So that's my journey, you know, but it was just this was the mindset shift where I was like, hold on a minute. I need to convert these results I just need to stop being in my head so much, and I just need to start driving and just remember that it's only a number, whether it's 3,000, 2,800, 3,200. That's it. So I'm going to carry on this philosophy up to 4K. If I ever do get to 4K, I'll let you know how I got there. But yeah, it was quite a fun video. I always love any excuse to use Microsoft Paint. Hopefully someone took value from this because, yeah, I know I would have. If I was watching this as a beginner, I definitely would have taken value from this as a beginner. Just to see someone just lay it all out that simple and just show that, hey, it's doable. Like, I wasn't very fast when I first started iRacing, and now I've been in some races recently where I've been left, you know, sweating after it, and it's just a blast. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this very silly video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys.